I think another thing too that I'm pretty proud of is the culture that we've created. I think for us, that's so important. And I'm sure everybody says that culture is important to them as well, but it's something that we're always trying to evolve and get better at.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot and Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
Adam, we would love to hear about yourself, White Rabbit Group, and everything web dev, apps, whatever you want to share with us.
Yeah, well, sounds good. I think probably a great place to start is kind of my journey and how I got into this sort of like industry, because it sort of dovetails nicely into kind of our partner model. So I had another agency before White Rabbit. It was called WebSauce. It still exists. And I was primarily a designer. So I was always doing the design, was also very frustrated with my PM structuring. So I wish I would have known about you guys a long time ago. But I made it work. I had a small team and our primary focus was design, but we weren't technical. That was something I just wasn't interested in. I always planned on outsourcing that. And I heard a long time ago about Upwork, and back then it was Odesk and all these different outsourcing companies. And I must have gone through over a dozen different development companies over the years. It was a super frustrating experience for me. I tried teams in India. I tried teams in Eastern Europe. I tried teams in South America. I tried US teams, and something always went wrong. Either the communication wasn't good with the PM or with the developer, however their structure was set up, or timelines were missed, or I think the most frustrating one for me was not matching the designs. As a designer, you spend all this time and energy. I mean, you pour your heart and soul into a design. Every good designer knows that. And then you hand it off to the developer, and then 3 weeks later or a month later, you get it back and it doesn't match. And it's almost like it was just kind of pieced together. Like they just didn't care. And it sort of hurts your heart after a while. And then on top of that, if they're late or if the deliverables don't match, it can create a really bad experience for your client. Be mindful of the timeline here. You can have a great experience at the beginning from the PM side, from the strategy to the creative. But then when you deliver a web project and it doesn't match the designs, or it wasn't on time, or it's not QA'd properly, it kind of negates all that experience that they had before. So I tried company after company, and eventually White Rabbit reached out to me. They just sent me a cold email, actually. It was a personalized email. They
Love
said,
that.
"Hey, I really like your agency. I like this case study." And after about a year of talking with them, I finally said, "Okay, I'll give you a project." And I never hired another developer after that.
Oh my
Uh,
God, long-term gain. Good for them.
I know, I
Yeah.
know. And then after a while, it made sense. They were at the time just developers, so they didn't have any designers in house at all, which fit their model because they were mostly partnering with other creatives.
Mhm.
But there was still like a supplemental need there, either for their own internal design stuff, or sometimes the partners just wanted us to make a few design adjustments. So I talked with them, and they ended up acquiring my agency, and I joined as a partner. Um, so I'm our creative director now, and
Awesome.
since then we've grown from, that was a few years ago. I think we were around 20 employees, and now we're almost 90. Um,
Wow.
Almost
That's wild.
entirely word of mouth, and yeah, it's pretty great. So I'm really passionate about what we do because I just know the pain points so well, and our focus is on really empowering creatives, to be able to just kind of whatever they want to dream up for their clients, or whatever their clients want. There's no limitations there. They have us really, you know, having their back, and has a trusted team that can scale with them as they continue to grow. And I've seen that time and time again. Our agencies will, they grow alongside us, and it's really cool, and
Mhm.
can be quite profitable for them too. So
Yeah, I love that. And it's similar to what we do in the sense where it's focus on what you're good at and then hire your weaknesses. Or like,
right,
we all know how hard it is to hire people. And for agencies to go and try and find all these developers like you guys have, that would take so much time and effort and energy. And so that's awesome. I
right.
love I love your model. That sounds awesome. So when it comes to agency partnerships, what are most of the agencies looking for when they come to you guys?
Well, sometimes it's all about timing. So, when either we talk to them ahead of time because they're being proactive and they know that things can come up and they want to just have the relationship there. More often what happens is we get a call and they say, hey, current development team is not working out, or, we're done with designs and we need to get this going. They have a hard deadline. Um, so it's not uncommon for us our first relationship requiring us to kind of be the heroes, you know, and
Mhm.
save the day, which is fun for us. We're used to those kind of fiery situations and trying to make it work. Through that experience, it can create a lot of trust and a good start to the relationship. But then we try to say, hey, let's do it the right way moving forward and, plan it properly. So yeah, it usually starts off with a smaller project as well. That's another thing is, I just think it's a lot of responsibility that an agency is giving us. I understand that. And I think it's just for more peace of mind for them. Let's start with something small. It's like dating before you get married, so to speak. We have a 92% retention rate. So I just kind of rely on that and the service that we provide. So if you like us on this small project, then let's do bigger things after that.
And what does that agency look like, Adam? Like, what are their pain points that you speak to? What are the problems that you're solving for them?
Yeah, it's a lot of it has to do with the pain points I mentioned earlier, which is the transparency and the communication is a big one. I mean, naturally, designers and developers are different people. They're different beasts. They have different ways they communicate. It's sort of like an architect and an engineer, right? They think about things differently. And so it's very easy for there to be communication challenges in the day to day. So that's why we have a project manager in between there, which I'm sure you guys understand the importance of that. And we try our best to team them up with someone who's technical and skilled in whatever, tech stack that they're needing for the project. But we also want to find someone that's flexible enough to be with them long term because we want them to build that personal relationship with that
Mhm.
project manager. In my opinion, this is one of the most important roles in our company. I mean, every role is important and plays its part, but the technical project manager is unique because I haven't really seen it done in the way that we do it, where they're extremely flexible. They can jump into their project management software, whatever that is, whether it's Asana, Teamwork, whatever, Monday, and they can even create an internal email address for us. So if they want us to communicate with their clients on their behalf, we can do that. So it's highly integrated. And we also have a dedicated estimate team, because some of these agencies, they're getting RFPs left and right. They have
Mhm.
ideas on a cocktail napkin, like they're just trying to close deals. So they need a team, if they were to come to us every time and we were to say, sorry, we're going to have to charge you a couple hours to provide an estimate for that or something. It would get pretty tiresome. So we have a dedicated estimate team that we don't charge for. And in most cases, we can provide a detailed spreadsheet estimate breakdown within 24 to 48 hours. So they're constantly updated it with these estimates so they can communicate properly to their clients, close more deals. They have that technical project manager alongside them to communicate things to their client if they would like. And then when a project starts, on any given web project, there might be a front end developer, a back end developer, uh, lead architect, DevOps for kind of site migration and security. We have a compliance team. We have a dedicated QA team, which is huge. So there's so many different people that come into play and all that gets funneled through that PM. So they only have to work with that one person. And we're very transparent about our hours. We track everything to the minute. Yeah, I think that's what creates that long-term kind of partnership. So I sort of
Mhm.
answered more than your question there, but
No, that's awesome.
the pain points usually are around the communication, which again, the PM really solves. We have a dedicated QA team so that things match the designs. Very detailed process. So we actually hit our timelines and we're very transparent about that as well if something does come up.
Mhm. And so what size agencies are you working with, or is it kind of all across the board?
It is across the board. Yeah, it really is. Some agencies, they're 1, 2 man shops and they just want to have a reliable partner when that project comes up once a year.
Mhm.
When that web project comes up once a year. We also work with some, really large agencies. One agency that we work with just got acquired by Accenture, which is pretty exciting to see. I think we'll no longer be working with them actually, just because they have everything they need now. But that was cool to be able to work with them and see that growth. I would say our sweet spot though is probably like 10 to 50 employees, somewhere in that range where, they're established enough where they're getting, quality projects. Because I wouldn't say we're meant for every agency. If an agency is just trying to churn out like a real templated type of website, we're probably not the best for that. It's kind of like hiring a Ferrari if you just need a Ford, that sort of thing. But yeah, if they're doing custom development work, custom design work, and they're in that sweet spot of like 10 to 50 employees, they don't have a large development team in-house, and they want to be able to have a full stack team and it's trusted. And they also want to be able to make a profit. Our partners are charging their clients, either per hour or on a fixed price budget. And so if they're hiring a US development team, they're not making any money or they're losing money on that because developers are expensive. And so, if they're trying to go to these other countries and try to source it, they can have a lower hourly rate. But again, you deal with all the problems that I mentioned earlier. And so with our model, it's kind of a blended rate. So they can actually mark that up, still make a profit, and have an even more reliable partner than they would if they were to just hire a US company.
Totally. There's so many wins in that too, Adam. Like, I really love that idea of the estimate too. We're always talking about how, when we speak with the agency owners, sort of that scope of work and is it this, is it not this? When do they do this? And like sort of having that totally transparent is such a great idea.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of leads me to think about the other side of things, flipping the script over here. How do you get these really key players on your team? Where's the talent coming from, and how do you kind of get those really awesome, we call them unicorns, maybe rock
Yeah.
stars, whatever your word is?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely not going to tell you. We're the ones who are going to steal them all. No,
Don't worry, we don't need developers.
Well, a lot of it's also
Let me grab my pen, Adam.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's very challenging. I'm not too involved on the recruitment side of our business, so I'm not going to have a lot of the juicy insights that I'm sure other team members would have, but I can tell you that we go through a lot of candidates. Our team is spread out across 3 different major time zones. So we have a team mostly on the West Coast, which is where most of our technical project managers are. Our co-founder, Ablash, manages our India location. And then we also have Bogota, Colombia, which we opened up, a few years ago now. So we have different recruitment strategies for each of those locations. We have 2 recruiters in our India location, and then we have an outside recruiter in Colombia and as well as the United States. So yeah, it's about kind of finding the right recruiter for us.
Of course, there's secret sauce to every agency, but I guess what I was trying to get at is that these people are super, they kind of go through your checklist and they're checking everything. They're right for the job. They have a lot of experience. Like, these are sort of those unicorns that we're talking about.
Yeah. We go through what we call the gauntlet. So where we actually have them do real world exercises in front of us in real time. And there's a lot of people on those calls too. So it can be a little bit high pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that reveals a lot about someone, how they can handle the pressure. So that's one of the things that I know helps us. But we do have to go through a lot of people to find those unicorns.
Yeah.
And contributes to the overall success too, right? Like, these people are invested. They're really like committed to the projects. Like, that's so amazing to have those, I'll say it again, those unicorns on your team for sure.
Well, yeah. And I think another thing too that I'm pretty proud of is the culture that we've created. I think for us, that's so important. And I'm sure everybody says that, culture is important to them as well, but it's something that we're always trying to evolve and get better at. We used to be in person and now we've gone remote. And so, but we're doing things to try to bring that connection in there. On our Slack channels, we started something called the monthly challenge topic, the fun monthly topic. And they're basically different challenges, different contests that people will do, and they all submit their entries each month. And then there's a rating at the end where people can submit their favorite submissions on there. And then there's prizes that get offered, and they're pretty cool prizes. And I can go much deeper into that, but there's a lot of fun things that we do to stay connected. We also just flew everyone in the company out to a resort in Bali. So we took over the entire resort. for a week and got together and got to actually meet everybody in all the different locations, which was an amazing experience. In fact, we even closed the company for that week as well. We let our clients know, many months ahead of time, to make it happen. And it was just an incredible experience for us and brought us closer together. So I think
Yeah.
that
Awesome.
that helps.
So that's really awesome. And for sure that would waterfall into like their quality of work and people kind of really excited to get up and start working and kind of
Right.
doing the White Rabbit group really awesome work. So with all that kind of in mind, different agencies, what makes you so passionate, Adam? What do you love about the day to day, the creative
Yeah.
director role?
Yeah. Well, as a partner, I wear a few different hats. I manage our design team. I also manage our business development and our marketing. So those are areas that I'm pretty passionate about because,
Mhm.
again, I know the value that we offer, and I'm pretty anxious to share it with the world and other agency owners that are experiencing any sort of frustration or inadequacy around their development deliverables with clients. And yeah, and then on the design side, will always love design, and so that's near and dear to my heart, and so I like to stay close to that. And then on top of that, just working with cool people that I enjoy to work with and collaborate with.
So fun. I want to ask about, and we can kind of piece this in to the podcast, but I want
Yeah.
to learn more about the app side of things. So that we work
Mm,
with a lot of different agency owners of all different sizes, all different, unique industries. Very rarely do we come across app development. So this could be a really
mm,
cool opportunity for agencies to almost tack on for their clients or, offer
Yeah.
this. Can you kind of fill us in on who uses apps, why, what they're for,
Yeah.
what the process looks like?
totally. Yeah, and a lot of times it starts off with some sort of discovery process to figure out what app that they need. So oftentimes, if it's the start of a venture, I am a big fan of looking at the web to start, because if you're going to go like say native, if you're going to go like with an iOS or Android app, that could be a little bit more expensive. And there are benefits to going native. It can be a much smoother process. But I would also say that, progressive web apps on the internet are getting really good. Like the technology has improved over the years. And so if you're looking for a place to kind of validate a concept, validate an idea, if it's something kind of innovative like that, often I think a lot of people can do fine just starting with a web app and kind of proving out the concept. And that's something that is quite common for us. So progressive web apps are really exciting. They're really fun. We love to be a part of those. We love kind of the complex problems to solve. If they do want to go the native route, yeah, we have those capabilities. So they can, if they want to do iOS or Android or hybrid, we can do that as well. And they're great. I would say apps make up probably a quarter of our business. They're fun to work on. And most people are intimidated by them. I do think that a lot of agencies go, "Oh, that's not us," which is something I recommend to agency owners if they're not familiar with us, or even if they are and they're just still a little bit scared, bring us into the conversation. I mean, some of our agencies are making quite a bit of money off the profit of tacking us on to their services and working with their clients. And the clients are very happy about that experience. And meanwhile, the agency owner has a trusted partner. So it's really a win-win-win. And I'm a big fan of open communication and seeing where we can help. So bring us in, I say, as early as possible so we can advise whether it's starting off with a progressive web app or if it's bringing us into, do a full native build.
Love it. Cool. So for agency owners who are looking for help, they're saying, all this sounds great. I'd rather partner with a team like you guys. Where should people go? How can they learn more about working with you guys, partnering with you guys? Kind of fill us in.
Yeah, our website, whiterabbit.group. And there's a button right there in the hero section called Let's Talk. And then there's two calendar links, one for myself and one for our business development lead as well. So they can speak with me or Mark on our team, and happy to just learn more about their agency and where we might be able to help. I think it all starts with a conversation.
And how many times do people come to you thinking they need one thing, but don't end up getting that at all.
Yeah, it's pretty common. It's common. It depends on the type of project. You know, if it's a simple marketing website, those tend to be pretty straightforward. But we also do e-commerce. But yeah, if you start getting into kind of the custom, real boundary pushing, ideas, then yeah, going through that discovery process is really necessary and things can change quite a bit.
Totally. I can imagine that would be me clicking on those links. I'd be like, I think I need this, but steering me in the right direction. So
Yeah.
definitely go check out White Rabbit Group, talk to Adam, talk to Mark, talk to them both. Everything will be linked in this podcast description. Thanks so much, Adam.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
Cheers to happy clients.